New report suggests charities could be shifting from traditional forms of fundraising to something called social investment. That is according to the company set up to provide loans to the sector. Big Society Capital says it's now supported more than 270 charities and social enterprises since it was created in 2012. Well, Cliff Pryor is the newly appointed chief executive of the company, and Kevin Munday is the director of the youth charity ThinkForward, one of those which has turned to social investment. Thank you for joining us this morning. Cliff, at a basic level, what is social investment? I know it's on the rise, but I think lots of people might not be aware of it.
Well, as you mentioned, charities and social enterprises, they can raise their running costs through fundraising or trading, but sometimes they want to take a step up to do more of their great work. It might be a new project, it might be a new building or some other kind of asset, and that's where social investment comes in. Social investment is repayable money, so they need to know that if they take that step up, they'll earn enough to pay it back. Give an example, perhaps James from Unforgettable. His family experience with dementia led him to be determined that other relatives and carers of people with dementia should be able to find the products and services they need to make life a bit better. And he wanted to get that as fast and wide as possible to help. His target is 10% of all the people affected by dementia. And to do that, he took social investment so that he could sort of jump-start his project, reach more people.
Some might argue it takes the charity out of charity. One of the big criticisms is the fact that it can be expensive. You've got to pay this money back, and it's not cheap.
Well, that's right. Of course, commercial investment into charities has been big and for a very long time, and people paying back to commercial organisations. Here it's the social investors. And I think many charities and social enterprises want to know that the investor is aligned with their mission. If things get tough, they'll think about the social benefit as well as just the finances.
OK, Kevin, let's just bring you in. You run an organisation called ThinkForward, a charity. Just talk us through briefly the work you do.
Sure, we're trying to prevent the next generation of youth unemployment, and we start working early with young people when they're still 14 at school, but are maybe struggling. There's a risk they're going to drop out of learning and that maybe they won't be able to get into work when they leave. So we provide them with coaching and support to make sure they've got a clear plan in place, and we support them until they get into their first job.
OK, so why did you turn to social investment as opposed to the more traditional fundraising methods?
Well, we'd used lots of those traditional fundraising methods, and it enabled us to get started employing 3 coaches in North East London. But we wanted to grow. We knew there was many more young people that we could support. And social investment provided a mechanism through which we could begin to scale the programme up. We had the offer of a contract with the Department for Work and Pensions, who would fund us for every young person we got into sustainable employment. But you need some money to run the programme whilst you're waiting for that to happen.
Did you at any point worry that you were to some extent taking on potential debts, that if you couldn't pay it back, you'd be in trouble?
Well, I think the important thing is social investors, as well as providing funding, also provide lots of support. So one of Cliff's colleagues came and joined the board and helped us really develop the business model behind the charity. So whilst there's a small element of risk, like there is with any type of funding, actually we felt pretty well supported along the way.
It sounds like, if I come back to Cliff, there obviously are the lenders are keen to be part of whatever charity they want to help. But the other argument is that perhaps the charities become almost a servant to the lender, that they have to kind of meet the needs of the lender more than the needs of the people that they want to help in the first place, because they've got to pay that money back.
Well, I think that's why many charities and social enterprises want to go to a social investor, so that things are aligned. They're interested in the social benefit. You take any source of money. I've run all kinds of charities in the past. Every funder comes with strings. That isn't new, and it's part of the job of people like Kevin and myself in previous life to be convincing enough. This is what will deliver the social impact, and this is what will make society better, and people will be prepared to put money into making society better. I mean, that's one of the big trends that we see is people more and more want to put their money into something purposeful and to have some kind of connection to where it's going. And I think that's part of the growth of social investment, particularly on the sort of crowdsourcing side of things.
So if organisations like Kevin want to get involved in this way, is it an application process? How does that work?
Yeah, so if you're a charity or social enterprise interested in social investment, probably your best starting point is Good Finance, goodfinance.org.uk, and that's an entry place into social investment. If you're a member of the public, wanting to put your money into social, got quite a lot of options. Simplest would be to take out a bank account with one of the social banks, Charity Bank maybe, or Triodos, which has a social ISA as well. If you want to do something in your community, there's an organisation called ETHEX, E-T-H-E-X, where you can see community share offers in your locality. And if you're adventurous and prepared to take more risk, and there is risk here, you could invest in social enterprises using the social investments tax relief. You can do that through a fund, or you can do it direct, but there is risk. There is more risk in that.
Risks, but certainly lots of different ways to be involved there.
Absolutely.
Cliff Pryor and Kevin Munday, thank you for joining us this morning.